Hi, it's Ian from the Postal Hub Podcast.
And Marek from Last Mile Experts.
And we are the Last Mile Prophets. This is the last word on the last mile. Marek, just recently, Carrefour announced its new digital strategy, I think was the phrase. And surprise, surprise, e-commerce and online and all of that is at the core of it all. According to this article, they've unveiled their new digital strategy. E-commerce sales must triple by 2026. That should reach 10 billion euros. And interestingly enough, delivery is at the center of this. Carrefour is developing new services alongside drive pickup points, that's the dominant model in France, to include express deliveries, which is less than 3 hours, and quick commerce or ultra-fast delivery within 15 minutes. Now, Marek, that's ambitious, and I know you've got a couple of thoughts on this. What were your immediate thoughts on this?
Immediate thought, Ian, is great. I think it's very necessary. If you think about it, e-commerce has encroached on traditional retail territory. And if you think about it, the fundamental USP for any e-commerce player is the last mile and that capability. If you plug that into traditional retail, then it becomes quite an attractive proposition because customers want alternatives. They want instant gratification if they're going to be buying online. They want more omni-channel because COVID has shown that traditional shopping patterns are changing. The easy bit is to say, is it the right or wrong thing to do? The more difficult thing is to say, okay, how can they make this work? And in my view, and you're not going to be surprised to hear this, of course, Ian, they need the secret sauce, which is
interactive delivery management.
Exactly. They need the software. So IDM is part of it, but they basically need to take their physical infrastructure, which typically, for particularly grocery retailers, is going to be pretty good. They add to that great tech competence, probably partnership, two types of partnerships in delivery, as they've shown here, but perhaps partnerships in lockers. So today, my friend Vaisel from Cajoo, and for those of you who are not initiated, Cajoo is the delivery arm of Alibaba, have started cooperation with, actually, believe it or not, Carrefour in Poland. So I think it's going to be more about partnerships, but also even the best grocery network like Carrefour is still not going to have, in most cases, enough coverage. So you need partner points. So it's quite complex, Ian.
Well, I was going to make a couple of comments as well. One is that at the moment, the super fast or ultra fast deliveries run through their own apps. So whether it's through Gorillas or through whatever, they've got their own app. So if you're going to integrate, say, an ultra-fast delivery company, as Carrefour seems to be wanting to do with its recent investment with the company, which I'm going to put down here because I can't remember what it's called. Does that then mean, though, that when you are shopping with Carrefour and you think, I'm going to shop with Carrefour, you go into the Carrefour app or the Carrefour site, and at the end of your shopping, you choose your delivery option, rather than before you start shopping, you choose the platform you shop on, which then determines your delivery option. Does that make sense, Marek?
The answer is I'm not sure. What I would imagine is most likely to happen is you first decide what you're buying, and then you have various checkout options. Actually, no. You know what? There is one good point. Some items may not be available for ultra-fast delivery.
And that was what I was going to mention. This comes back to what you just said about having the spread of the network. We know that supermarkets have an excellent retail footprint, but these ultra-fast delivery operators are looking at having those dark stores that cover a very small area. So how do you create that hybrid sort of environment? Was that how you'd see it, Marek?
Yeah, I reckon that it's going to be a mixture of several things. So if it goes to the ultimate level, whereby you have partner stores as well with their own localized stock, theoretically, you could have two levels, and it becomes quite complicated, doesn't it? So you could say, this is the item you're looking for first, and then it shows you the options. Is it available for ultra-fast delivery? Ultra-fast delivery could either be from, let's say it's Carrefour, from Carrefour, or from a partner retail outlet near you. So actually, the more I think about it, here it is. Look, we've worked it out here together. So the way it could work is you first actually do highlight the items you want. Then it shows you which of them are available for ultra-fast delivery and which are not, and perhaps gives you alternatives. So if you happen to love Cloudy Bay, which is a very nice white wine from not quite your part of the world, but almost. So if it has to be specifically Cloudy Bay, you may not have an instant delivery option, but it could be that you have another alternative, really nice white New Zealand wine that is available. So I think that gives the customer much more control. It does involve a lot of tech capability.
Yeah.
But isn't it customer centric?
It does involve a lot of tech. And there's another aspect to this that I think we need to also consider is the environmental aspect. So you as a consumer need to be able to make the decision based in part on speed, in part on product range, and in part on the environment, the emissions or whatever it might be. Now, I'm not talking about the carbon footprint of an avocado, which has been flown in from wherever. I'm really just talking about the last mile in this instance. What's the difference between collecting it from the store, having it super fast delivery, or having it delivered as an express order as part of a milk run? I think these are all important things that I as a consumer would like to know. Now, one of the things I'm looking at when I'm shopping online is the quality and how fast it's going to be delivered within an acceptable time frame. And what you mentioned about splitting up orders, I think this is something that's not unique to supermarket delivery. Where you make an order from, even Amazon, and Amazon says, well, you've ordered 5 products, 2 of them you're going to get tomorrow, another 2 you're going to get a day or 2 later, and the other one's going to come from the other side of the world. It'll come sometime next week. It's then up to the consumer to make the decision about when they get their order.
There is one difference though, Ian, because with this sharing economy model, it's not just dependent. Let's stick with Carrefour. So imagine Carrefour doesn't have item X, but Mama and Papa store, which is partnered with them, does. So you do give a lot more flexibility. So the chances are, in far more cases, you'll have the item. So it's one step ahead, as it were. I love the idea, and you're right, this ecological thing, but actually it's quite easy to do because you can do it very scientifically, but you can also do it pretty easily. Exactly as you said, a standard milk run will always be more efficient from a carbon perspective, plus out of home will be more efficient. You could basically, like you do when I went to my Indian restaurant recently, they had, 1 chili, 2 chilies, 3 chilies.
Right.
So you can have 1 bucket of carbon, 2 buckets of carbon, and 3 buckets of carbon. And if it's express delivery on demand right now, it's going to be 3 buckets. If it's a milk run, it's going to be 2 buckets. And if it's a Pudo or Locker, it'll be 1 bucket.
They can do this on Amazon. It could be Jeff's. How many Jeffs? Maybe not. You just mentioned, though, the idea of partnering with the local corner shop. More and more retailers are offering marketplaces. So the idea of a not corner store, could be a corner store being on the marketplace. It could be kilometre zero, as they call it, local farm being on the marketplace and offering their products through there. I mean, then you might be able to go to a deeper level when it comes to calculating the carbon cost of your groceries. But coming back to the strategic thing, though, just before we finish up, Marek, talking about tripling e-commerce at Carrefour, but it's really clear that they have to get delivery right, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think that in a way, this is replicating what Walmart is trying to do in North America, because all of these guys must understand that there's big bad Amazon, in inverted commas, of course, close by. And if they don't get their act together, then they're going to be left by the wayside, and it's going to be a repeat performance of my favorite story, the Kodak story, whereby digital will take over. In this respect, Amazon will take over because Amazon Fresh is a new digital type concept.
Amazon wants to eat your lunch. A message for the supermarkets of the world. Before we wrap up, Marek, a quick reminder. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please do subscribe and hit the notifications bell so that you're notified of any other videos that we publish. By subscribing, you help us keep this content free, and we love doing it. So please, show your support, hit subscribe, and if you're on LinkedIn, follow us on LinkedIn as well. Marek Różycki, thanks for being part of the Last Mile Profits today.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, everybody.